Hello, everyone. It's another Thursday night, June 20th. Almost summer, just about summer.
Today is
This
summer.
is it summer today?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Happy summer, everyone. Two Men in a Room, the show that goes over all the interesting topics with your hosts, the Angriest Man in the Room, and
Vernell James. I, I'm just trying to get this out of my system with you
it.
being the angriest
What? Oh,
men in Orlando. I'm
yes,
trying to figure it out.
yes. The
I just,
Angriest
just
Man.
why? Just why?
I don't know. That's what was deemed to be. I was anointed it. I didn't pick it. It just came out, and that was it.
So it just stuck with you.
Yeah, it's like the great, you know, nicknames of like the Big Slugger.
So you feel
You
very
know,
comfortable being the angriest man in Orlando.
I think it's funny. It fits and it works, and I think it encapsulates what I want to do with the shows that I'm doing,
But
and it
you don't think it's a
just
turnoff?
worked off.
You don't think it's a turnoff to women? Like,
Well, it's like someone can't be angry all the time.
but
So it's kind of just like, you know, it's like I'm trying to think of you know, like all right, Andrew Dice Clay. He was known for really raunchy stuff. But I'm sure you could sit down with him at a certain moment and he wasn't going to be raunchy, you know.
But you don't
Dave
think they're gonna say,
Chappelle.
okay. You don't think they're gonna say in they back of their mind, well, when is the angry part gonna come out? Because I know it's bound to happen since you're the angriest man in Orlando.
It's more of like a persona. Like, okay, Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan, but he was Terry Bollea when he was off. You know, the Undertaker was the Undertaker, but you didn't see him killing people all the time. He was Mark Calloway when he was off. You know, uh, Macho Man Randy Savage. A little bit of what Macho Man was him in real life, but he was generally what was his name? Poffo.
But
He was
you're mentioning
generally a
people.
really nice guy to talk to. He
I
wasn't
know,
like
but you're
always
mentioning
yelling.
people that have have a role that they had to play. You don't have a
Right.
role that you have to play. This is just you.
No, I do now. The show, The Angriest Man in Orlando channel. If
So
you
you just
watch
looking
the
at it.
show,
But
it's a
listen,
little bit of anger mixed in with a little bit of frustration
well, you
for stuff
already
mixed
know
in.
I better have time to do this because you know I be having too much going on. And your show is on what, Thursday night?
We do Tuesday nights, and then we have a little story time hour special going on Saturday nights, which is doing
Wait,
really well. This
wait,
this
wait,
first
wait,
Saturday is doing
wait.
really well, and I'm
What
hoping
you mean? What you
what
mean story time? Like you reading to some
story
kids or
time.
something?
Yeah, you gotta watch it. The story is really great. It's
You
about this
know how
girl.
I roll on weekends. You know I don't even have time for myself. You know
But
this.
it's recorded, so you can watch it
Yeah, I
on
got to
a
go back. You have
Wednesday
to remind me
night
because you
when
know I be busy.
just put it on, hang out when you're eating or when you're doing laundry or doing something.
Well, I'm actually doing laundry right now.
Oh, let's see, you're
Well,
multitasking, so
well,
you just
laundry pack, a little bit of packing,
mhm.
But anyways, whatever, I guess. But because I'm
Okay.
just gonna get to the bottom of you being the angriest man, because I want to dissect the name for you because it's just too much for me. But nevertheless, so what we got going on for tonight?
It's like The Rock and Dwayne Johnson, you know? It's like it's a persona that amplifies stuff, you know?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So before we get into all that, I just want to let everybody know that I want to thank Rumble for getting us the software to run this. And Rumble's exclusive apparel has finally arrived. They are now offering 20% off all purchases in the Rumble store with the discount code DROP20. If you want to support the brand that is fighting for free speech and fighting for our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. They have tees, sweaters, hats, and so much more. Go to rumble.store. I've put a link in the description, so you can just click that. And make sure to enter DROP20 as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. That's DROP20, and that'll get you 20% off. Pick up, something that just shows your support for this brand that gives free speech to everybody. I mean, we can say whatever we want on here. So,
I know. Well,
discount code and a link to the site is in the description. All right, so let's get into this. Title was Consequences. A lot of things have been popping off recently. So, what kind of consequences are going to happen with all of this?
I think you have to speak for everybody. Have to speak for themselves, right? I
Right,
just think like consequence is like, hey, you do it now, but there's a consequence later
right,
for every action that you do now, and a lot of people just don't understand the way you acting now, especially in a bad behavior, and you're getting locked up, you're doing this, you're doing that, but eventually you're going to want to be something in life, right?
right,
And then certain things that you done in your past gonna stop you from doing that, all because of what you want to do and what you did back in your younger days. And to me, it's just like you can't even talk to the generation right now today because they hard headed.
right,
That's just my personal opinion. They don't want to listen to you. They just think they know it all. But at the end of the day, when you decide to get your life on track and want to do better, I'm not going to say it's too late, but certain people just don't want to even deal with it. Or certain people going to bring your past back up and stuff like that. Like, to me, don't even get a felony because it's over if you get a felony.
right. Much like the
So,
girl who was shooting at the customers at the McDonald's in Lakeland.
huh?
Oh, see, you got to watch Tuesday's show. So,
So you want
there
me to
was
watch
an
your show on
arg.
Tuesday, then I got to do this on Thursday, then I got to watch the show on Saturday. I have too much going on in my little world to be doing all this.
So there was an argument at the drive-through. Something about that some food hadn't gotten put in or something like that. And she proceeded to throw a drink at the person. The person decided to reach back in through the drive-through window, throw some stuff. So the girl walked off, got her gun, came back out, started going after the guy. I guess the guy started driving off, and she went into the parking lot and started shooting him. So not the greatest. There's just certainly some consequences that will come from that.
Correct.
First and
Correct.
foremost, I think is firing. Second, the Lakeland Police Department are now looking into it and
Right.
could possibly file some charges.
Correct.
So,
And she's going to have consequences behind that.
not to mention her video was on a couple different news channels, especially the local news. So
Right.
everybody around there is going to know who she was and
Right. So
probably
she
not
can't get a
hire her.
job.
Yeah,
Uh, um she may be going to jail,
right,
because of a dumb decision, especially McDonald's.
right,
Like, is McDonald's really worth it? Child, please. Because they finna kick you to the caboose and then they're gonna replace you, and that's it. Now you got to figure out what you finna do with your life. Because like you said, you semi viral, because you all on the news and everything.
hmm,
And there's consequences behind every action.
right.
So over McDonald's out of all places,
And she felt disrespected, so she had grabbed the
who
gat and
who felt disrespected, the employee or the
the girl who was running the drive-through.
oh child?
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
but
mm,
it comes in that territory, right? Because customer service ain't a cute position, and you're
right,
going to deal with a lot of different attitudes, a lot of different people that come through there. Some people are happy, some people are angry, some people upset. Then you have those that's really nice, gentle, you know, but
Mm,
it comes with your job. You got to know how to handle the situation,
right.
because you're going to get disrespected to a certain degree. But do that means you go out, get your gun, and shoot in the air or whatever you done, whoever you done shot at or where you shot at or whatever, and now you know there's a possibility that you may be getting arrested. It's
Yeah.
just not worth it. But it comes with the territory. What it say? McDonald's what 1.3 billion, sir, or whatever. So you
Something like that. Yeah.
got a lot of different crazy people coming through there that just don't care.
I guess she didn't want to do manual labor, so
Listen, oh child, well,
she
hon,
left it.
listen, because I'm not doing manual labor to a certain extent. It's too much. Whew. Like I give you kudos because I know you like a little manual labor, changing brakes and oil and all that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nah, I must say, back in my little younger days, I did my little brakes. Now I'm not changing no oil. I'm not doing that. I done changed my tire. I changed put the oil and antifreeze and all that in there, but that's about it. I just rather pay somebody. I just call you up and say, hey, I need some brakes or whatever the case may be. But I ain't doing all that. Like you'll take your time, but that's just something that you like to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So manual labor ain't just for everybody.
No, I
But
certainly wouldn't tell most women to do manual labor. So no, I wouldn't.
right,
I wouldn't say
right,
that it's for everybody.
right.
But
But I just think that that's sad that she could mess up
I
her life
mean,
because of that.
yeah, she really whittles down what kind of jobs she can go after this because they're going to
Right,
ask you, why did you leave McDonald's? And, you know, she can kind of say, well, they just fired me. I don't know why. But it's, when you run your name through Google, boom, there's
right.
the Fox News video, there's the
Mm-hmm.
CBS video of
Mm-hmm.
you with your gun out, ready to
Right.
just pow, 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 pow in the parking lot. And it's like, there's cameras everywhere nowadays,
Yeah.
people. Like, you
Eh,
can't do what you used to want to do
right.
because
And
everybody's got a camera on you.
some employees even go on your Facebook page and see what you are posting, see how you acting. I never did post crazy stuff. But when I go out of town, out of state or whatever, I post,
Mm.
my little sceneries and things, but nothing major, nothing crazy. But you have to be very careful of what you post and what you do. Like you say, you Google somebody's name and all this stuff come up and like, child, please, we ain't finna waste our breath on her. And then don't let the felony be fresh. You're like, girl, get out of here.
Right. I would say definitely criminal records would be an automatic for most hiring managers to say no.
Right,
Going into like, Instagrams and Facebooks and stuff like that, they may do it, but then it depends on who that person is. Like, if you're in a bikini in the Caribbean and you're showing a little too much, some people might say no, some people might say yes. If you're, hanging out your car, driving down to one of those takeovers, and you're doing donuts and all kinds of stuff, most people are going to be like, well, he's a little bit too dangerous to be working, especially if you're working with machinery or vehicles or anything like that. So, be very careful what you're posting. If you're posting it, make sure it's you, make sure it is who you are, and then just expect the consequences of what happens, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And
I
it
just
works
wish we
for
could get
go ahead.
I just wish we could get through the younger generation head. Like, hey, there's consequences behind everything that you do or say to individuals,
Right.
because you leave a bad taste in people's mouth because you're only a teenager or either a minor and you just think you know it all when you really don't. We're trying to instill in you what we went through or what we learned back in our days. And then, oh, you don't know nothing. Times have changed. And yes, times have changed. But, I talked to my grandbaby, she only 6. I don't
Mm,
listen, little girl,
mm.
but I don't know. Some people you just cannot talk to. So you just
Well,
have to let them go out, bump their head on a brick wall, and say, I told you so.
if they want to, type into TikTok 40 and single. And it is a giant wake up call for a lot of people.
Okay.
Or
Yes.
still living with my mom is a great one. Just type that in and watch the videos, and it'll be a wake up call for you.
Yeah. I just think so. Okay. Now that you mentioned that, still living with my mom, what
Yes.
age do you think someone should move out from with their mom?
I would say by the time you're about 25 or so, 24, 25, that would be about the time to look into moving out. Um,
That's a,
I
that's
mean,
that's a that's a nice
if
age, but I do know some people just want to move out because they think they grown, want to be grown, and they done graduated or whatever the case may be. Like, okay, girl, going on out there. Okay,
well,
Mr. Man, going on out there because you finna get out in the water and can't swim.
that's great. If you want to do it, go ahead, do it. Certainly look into what you need to do it. Talk to people who are already living on their own. Ask them, like, what do you pay here? What do you pay for services? What's it like living on your own? And most people will give you honest truth about it. This is how
Oh
much it
yeah,
costs. Would
oh
I ever
yeah,
do it again? Would I do this? Would I do that? So, you know, always ask somebody where you're going, where you want to be, how to get there.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah. Because life is not easy. Life ain't easy
Yes.
at all. I know some
No.
people make it look easy, but it's not easy. That's all I got to say about that, honey. My mama made me work at the age of 15. And I thank God for that, right? Because
Hmm.
she instilled in me, hey, you got to work for what you want. And make sure you every time I got a check, as soon as I catch my check, I had to give my that little sister $50, and then I had to, save money to buy my school clothes. And I thank her for that. I was arguing with her about it. It's like, later, you had me. Why I got to give you $50 a week and buy my own school clothes or whatever? I was mad because I just want to do what I want to do with my coins. But I'm glad she did teach me because you know,
Hmm.
it need to be taught to the younger generation at a young age. They need to know about your credit score and savings, a account, checking account. I don't care if you just start with a little portion, it do grow. You know,
Right.
they don't. A lot of parents don't teach their children that. Anytime somebody get a little $15, $20 in their pocket, they think they're supposed to run to the store get a toy or whatever. I try to teach my grandbaby, hey, here's $10, but only spend this and put some in your piggy bank. Uh, you know, but she
Mm.
young, so I get it. But the older you get, the wiser you should get or become, and go from there. But
Mm.
child, it ain't easy.
It's not, but
It's not.
it, there's a lot of resources out there if you want to learn. So there's always, videos on YouTube and Rumble that are from people who've already been through all this,
Yeah,
how to work
yeah.
this, how to work that, where to go for that. So there's great resources everywhere. Just you guys just sit and learn.
Child, I need me a shower. Honda AC is right on me.
Oh boy. You look like
Yes.
you look a little chilly tonight, so.
That's because the way I'm sitting, the vent is directly on me.
Oh
Um,
boy.
you know, I know
Mm,
the wall is bare because I'm in the process of packing and all that. But
mhm.
honey, this AC is letting me have it, which is a good thing because I'm gonna snug up in my quilt when and turn my fan on. Child, after this, you know.
Okay. So I've got a question for you.
Oh Lord.
Um, so I saw a report said this was in LA County, California. Said that officials were going to be removing some no U-turn signs and no cruising signs between midnight and 6 a.m. And the reason they were going to remove those signs was they said it was very discriminating against the LGBTQ plus community. So I was kind of curious, how is a no U-turn sign discriminating?
I have no clue. I mean, this is my first time hearing about it.
Okay,
To
well,
be
I've got a
honest with you,
video if you want to watch it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. A
Okay,
no U-turn sign.
let's sync this up so everyone can watch along with us. Okay, let me know if you can hear it.
City representatives are writing rather an old wrong in Silver Lake. Here it is. And it also to do with street signs that read no U-turn. It came down today. The signs, in addition to no cruising signs, were posted in the 1990s by neighbors who were targeting LGBTQ community members.
It was no coincidence that these signs were put up after the LGBT community continued to grow more in the 90s here in Silver Lake. In fact, they were part of the reason they were probably put up was because there was an LGBT bar that was just literally down the street from the same area. It's good that we're finding the areas and the symbols within our own very city that continue to have these hateful remnants of the past.
The Silver Lake Community Council voted years ago to remove the no cruising signs, but some of the no U-turn signs remained until today. The removal of the signs is part of the city's effort to commemorate Pride Month.
Okay, so the signs were discriminating against the LGBTQ community.
Right, because it was a gay club right there in the territory, right?
Right. I think they just don't know how to explain this. They're from California after all, not the brightest people in the country. I think it has something to go back to. A lot of the new kids won't know this, and I feel old talking about this, but remember cruising the avenue or the boulevard, getting in your car, cranking your stereo up, trying to
And
be the
just riding
loudest
around.
and
Just
flashiest
riding
person
around.
out.
We
I
used to
think
say, we used to call it, let's go take a stroll. That's what we used to call it.
I think this is what it was, but of course it just sounded like, a no U-turn sign is discriminating against people, and it's like, why would it be discriminating against people? Like, doesn't make any sense.
Well, they said
But
they put the sign up due to the fact that it was a gay club right
so
down the street.
didn't this gay club have parking? I mean, could you just pull over, walk on up, say, "Hey, what's going on?" and go in? I don't get the cruising part, but I think it has something to do with even my little city had an avenue, and we used to go on. You'd go on from about 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night and cruise up and down. I'm surprised gas wasn't way more expensive back then, but so many people were using it. And you would just either beep your horn or wave or try to get somebody to pull over with you so you could chat them up. Did that ever happen around where you were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think this is what this was about. Just the way they talked about it, they couldn't explain it in a way that actually made sense. It just sounded ridiculousness. So back in the day, they actually had a park on the Ave, which had a wall, which only the coolest kids would ever sit up at the wall. And I actually got a few chances to sit on the wall, so I was a cool kid back in the day. And so the thing with the wall is you weren't cruising. You were there. So everybody got to see you. Because when you were cruising, maybe you went by somebody like once or twice. Maybe you didn't see them. But when you were on the wall, you were the prime photo, the prime portrait in a museum. And I think that's what this whole thing was about. Now, why they haven't taken down these signs before, I don't know. But just the timing of it is all just like, it's just kind of complaining for no reason. Just take the signs down. Just why is this a news story? What's the point of all this? But did you ever meet anyone cruising around on your boulevard or avenue or whatever?
Oh, child, yes, honey. Oh, yes. You do not want me to get into that.
Oh, come on.
Of course,
Did you have the
back in the
lights
days,
underneath your car? And
back in the days, like you say, you cruise, you hang out. It's a place that used to be called King's Inn, and King's
oh,
Inn was the hangout spot. Listen, it was the hangout spot, right? It was the hangout spot, and we used to hang out. We used to sit on the porch. We used to, me and my friends, we used to chill and just having a moment. Like it's a huge porch, and that we used to just sit and hang out, eat. They used to drink, and people used to walk by, pass by, whatever. And I met, a friend or two, or a friend or three, or maybe a friend or four. But yeah, you meet people, and back then it was okay to meet people because it was, to me, it was safer back then than it is now. That's just my personal opinion. But and we used to talk and laugh, and they'll come back the next day, talk and laugh, and start hanging out. Then we start barbecuing, and everybody get together and just chill. But yeah, anytime you cruise, you may meet a little boo, here and there. You ain't never meet no boo cruising.
I met quite a few people.
Okay.
Quite a few people.
Okay.
And quite a few people met me.
Yeah, I just think
we'll say that.
I went to my sister's house yesterday, and I say, hey, do kids even know about frisbees and this and that? Because they don't.
No, kids don't go outside anymore. They stay inside and stay on the Instagram and TikTok, and they play the video games are starting to die off, but they play the online games and stuff. So nobody cruises anymore, as far as I could tell. I've been to small towns. I've been to big towns. Nobody cruises anymore.
No, people don't cruise no more. I think, is it because maybe because back then, it wasn't internet and all this stuff, technology that they have today. So they find other things to do with their time. Back then we just get in the car, we cruise, we hang out. We'll sit on a corner all day because everybody passed by there. We all trying to look cute or whatever. And nowadays it's just like, oh, child, let me get my game, let me get my PlayStation and just game it all day. I just don't see how people be on the phone all day long. I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, they're entrenched in watching a buffalo walk across the road, or what else do they watch? They watch the weirdest stuff. It's the weirdest stuff on there.
Yeah, because people post stupid stuff on there,
Yeah. We got a comment
see if
here.
It was educational, then that'd be a different story.
Mary Jade says, but wasn't everyone prohibited from cruising and U-turns? I believe so, but they may have been targeting certain people at that time. These were put up in the 90s, so LA was a little rough back then.
Oh, child.
A lot of riots and all kinds of craziness. So they may have been targeting a certain type of people at that time. Why it took so long to take down and why it needed to be a story, don't really know. But another comment that I will specifically answer. I thought the wall was for kids without a car. No, if you didn't have a car, you were basically just riding your bicycle around and hanging out on random corners. The wall was specifically for the coolest ones with the best cars or the best motorcycles, and you were a star until the cops rolled by and they kicked you out. Okay, I had a 1993 Chevy Beretta that I used to drive around in. I had later on my S10 little pickup truck. It was a 2000. I bought it in 2002, so it was almost brand new. What else did I have? I had my 03 All-Star Edition GSXR motorcycle, and that was when I used to just hang around with the guys at Dunkin' Donuts and all the racers and everything. And so I had a few different vehicles while I was out there. One of our main things was to actually, there was midway between the beginning and the end, you had a Walgreens. And so we just go park in the Walgreens parking lot till they threw us out. And we just hang out there, put the music on, have like drinks passed around to people. Like everyone thought it was like a big block party and stuff. So like
I,
that's what you do back in
I
the
mean,
day.
yeah, yeah. Hang at
That,
different stores, different corners. But yeah, it don't happen. I mean, in the hood it do, like they hang at
right.
certain stores. Uh,
Like there was no
so
match.com or anything back then. There was no Facebook dating. Like if you
right,
wanted to go meet somebody, you went out and met somebody,
right.
you know.
And
So you
particularly
fly,
at the club. So I don't know. I don't know. Things have changed. And it's scary to meet people online or through certain apps or
mm.
whatever the case may be. I don't get into the apps, the dating apps or whatever. To me, it's just too much and full of games and lies. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but to each his own that do go on the dating apps. That's just not my forte.
Well, if you go on, please understand the rules of what you are going on to. There's a specific one called Bumble that allows women to make the first move. So if you are a woman and you're watching this and you want to go on Bumble, please read the rules and understand them. You are the one who needs to send the first message. Do not say, oh, he likes me, so I like him. So I'm just going to wait for him to make the move. That's not how it works, people. It's not how it
So,
works.
so what if the guy do make the first move? What's wrong with it?
The guy can't make the first move. It does not allow it on that website.
Oh wow.
So, ladies, if you're wondering why you're not connecting on that site, it's because you're probably not making the first move.
So
So read the rules.
how many dating apps do you have on your phone?
I use one at a time, but I've gone through probably 6 or 7.
So when you feel like, oh Jesus. So when
It's
you feel like
cheaper than
one
paying
is
it's cheaper than paying covers at a club to go into every Saturday night and go find somebody.
so when you so how often do you go on there?
I'll go on for about 3 months at a time, see who's on there, because ironically, it is like a bar. You know, you'll go to a bar and you'll see everybody's new because you never knew anyone there. After a couple of weeks, you'll start seeing the same people pop up.
Right.
And you'll be like, oh, okay, they're still on here, they're still on here, they're still on here. And if you're in a big city, you'll get a lot of people just coming and going for traveling reasons. So if you're in Dallas, you'll have people coming in from Austin, coming in from San Antonio, coming in from Galveston, Houston. And so you might meet somebody who's just there traveling. Smaller towns, you're going to see basically the same people over and over and over because there's only so many people in that area. So if you go on like me, you see the people, there's nobody really interesting. You shut down for a little bit. Maybe it's summertime, you go do some stuff, hang out with people. Fall rolls back around, everybody jumps back on. You see the same people again. It's like going back to that bar again. And there's so-and-so sits there. There's so-and-so who sits there. It's all the same people. So it gets a little monotonous. You see people age. That's the crazy thing. Like you'll
Really?
see somebody who you saw like 2 years ago and you'll be like, oh, okay, they now look like this. Now they're doing this. Sometimes attitudes change. Sometimes preferences change. So it's kind of fun to see that. You get
How
to see
often do
people.
you check it, or do you wait for a message to come through and then you check it, or you go on there and you stroll? Is it daily
So
or
So it works in the more you're on, the more you're seen, unless you want to pay for it, which a lot of
oh,
people don't pay for it. So the algorithm works with the more you're engaged with it, the more it's going to put you out, because it puts you out there hoping that you're always on, you're going to find somebody you like, you're going to want to pay to talk to them. So if you don't go on a lot, you're probably not going to get a lot of messages. But if you go on at specific times, maybe like between 7 and 9 at night, between like 10 and 12 in the morning,
What?
if you hit those like peak times when a lot of people are like, oh, they got into the office, they checked in, now they check their emails, okay, they could start going to work. Well, let me stop and check and see who's online right now. Those are generally the times where you can find the most people on these types of sites, and then you can kind of float around and find out who you like from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Be careful what dating sites you get on, or you got to make the first move, fish. Y'all need to make the first move. You want a piece of trade, honey. You know, send a message.
Specifically on Bumble.
You say Bumble?
Bumble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a B thing.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you'll notice that people will copy and paste. So they'll take their whole profile, copy and paste it, put it on the next site, put it on the next site, and put it on the next site. And you can always notice this with Bumble because they will specifically say, I don't make the first move. And it's like, if you're on this site, you do have to make the first move. So you could tell right away they didn't bother even changing their profile
Right.
to put it on here. So,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, don't waste your time on
Interesting.
those.
Oh, okay, okay.
Absolutely.
So didn't you? I'm just trying to figure out. You such a Disney fan for whatever
Yes.
reason.
Okay.
What's going on with Disney now?
All right. So James O'Keefe, who's an investigative reporter, used to run Project Veritas, now runs his own website called OMG. He's been doing some investigation on Disney, and let me skew this up. So he's been doing some investigation, and he dropped a hint a couple days ago that he has a new report coming out called the Disney Tapes. Okay, nobody knew what they were going to be about. Nobody knew what he found. Some people thought it was something to do with money laundering or something. And it turns out it was something completely different. He dropped his first tape today. So I want to ask you before we queue up this video, would you work for a company that did not want to hire gay people?
Would I work for that company that don't want to hire gay people?
Yes.
No. Well, is it really a fair question because I'm gay? So of course I wouldn't work for that company.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I just feel like we in 2024, right?
Right.
So it's gay people everywhere.
Right.
So why would you not? Because they could be the most. I mean, to me, gay people are just so fun to be around. Majority of them, right? They laugh, they keep you laughing. They're great people. I'm not saying all, but even straight people, I love being around straight because we laugh, we talk, we chat. I just think a company shouldn't discriminate no matter who the individual is and their preference. But I wouldn't. So what doesn't happen?
Okay. So you wouldn't want to work for a company that wouldn't want to hire straight white people, right?
No.
Right. Okay. So ironically, that was what was suspected of happening at Disney. And he actually got a report from somebody who works for Disney, specifically 20th Century Television. This gentleman is a vice president. He does a lot of deals, a lot of setting up for TV shows, setting up for the actors and all that stuff. And it's funny, we were just talking about dating. He actually had an account on Match.com. No, Hinge. Sorry, Hinge.com.
I never heard of it.
It's the site that you're supposed to try to delete. That's their little commercial thing that you want to delete it because you found someone. So he had a profile up there. He meets this girl. He goes on a couple dates. She starts asking him about work, and he starts telling her about work, and she starts asking him some more. Turns out, didn't work out. So he goes on another date with another woman, starts talking a little bit about work, and goes from there. And what he talks about work is now the I guess could be the basis of a lawsuit against Disney. So I'm gonna cue the video up. I'm gonna just play the first 5 minutes. If you want to go watch the rest of the video, just find James O'Keefe on X, which is used to be Twitter, and then you can watch the whole video. So let me sync this up and just listen to his own words on what he says about what's going on at Disney.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against white men in particular.
I think I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the shop. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's going on." Like they wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like we're at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there's a acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at the usual suspects for this job. So it's not a legally actionable thing. So everybody knows what it means. They, for writers and actors, we hear all the time, looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
So that is from O'Keefe Media Group, OMG, James O'Keefe. You can look it up to watch the rest of that video, but some shocking accusations, I guess, as of right now. This is the vice president and team lead of 20th Century Studios, which was basically Fox 20th Century Studios. Disney bought Fox back in 2019, brought everybody into their fold. So they run all the TV shows for that. You'll see a lot of them on Hulu and everything. And what he basically says is, if you're white and male at Disney, you're not going anywhere. If you're there, then they're not even going to hire you or look at you. And they want people of a certain ethnicity, people of a certain color and look and gender and sexuality. And it's discrimination. I mean, you can't, if you reverse the rules and it's bad, the original statement is bad. So if you say, like, would you work for somebody who wouldn't hire straight people, is the same as would you work for somebody who wouldn't hire gay people. You're basing your decision on someone's sexuality versus what performance they could do in the job.
Right. Correct. And I think that's what you should base people on, is their performance, not who they are, whether or not they're acceptable, their gender, or whatever the case may be, because you have many different talents out there. So don't base it off look or the sexual preference of whatever the case may be. Long as they're there to follow the rules and regulation and get the job done and get it done in a timely manner, that's all. I mean, that's all should matter in my eyes. I like all colors. It don't make me no difference. I'm gonna get along with everybody. I'm gonna chop it up. We gonna laugh. We gonna go out. We gonna hang out. Whatever the case may be. But I mean, time will tell with Disney. That's all I can say.
I mean, this was kind of suspected. You had the firing of Gina Carano a couple years ago, and she now has a lawsuit against Disney. I think this adds fuel to it. I think this also brings to light anyone who was maybe trying to get a job as a, middle management to upper management person there. And if you now believe, based on these statements, that you were not hired because you didn't fit a certain profile, you could have grounds for a very good lawsuit right now. And Elon Musk has already commented on the video being out there saying, hold on a second. So he's fueling a lot of these lawsuits going after Disney, and this may be more fuel for his fire going, and it'll be very interesting to see. And it's funny, I was talking with somebody today, and we heard a Disney song on the radio, and he asked, hey, if things were to go bad at Disney, like, what would happen? Like, would they even do? Would they be sold? Would they just shut down? What would happen? And I kind of went over what my thoughts would be. I think they would basically have to break up a lot of the departments and kind of sell them off to different other entities, and then just go from there. And it's scary enough now that may actually come true. I mean, if they have way too many lawsuits, which they already have a lawsuit from a couple individuals who are trying to make it a class action lawsuit. Do you remember when they were trying to build the Lake Nona project? They were going to have a giant building built in Lake Nona. Imagineering was going to move there from California. It was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
So some of the people wanted to stay with the company, be part of the new department that was going to be there. So they actually sold their houses in California, moved to Florida, bought homes here. And then in 2023, they canceled the move.
Right.
So then people had to figure out, do I stay with the company and move back to California? Do I try to find a new job here in Florida? And so a couple of the people ended up moving back to California, but then at the time, home prices had skyrocketed past what they had sold their original homes for. So now they're trying to sue Disney for the loss of income, loss of your original. One guy actually said the house he sold was the house he grew up in. He inherited it from his parents. Like, how do you put a value on something like that? So Disney's having a lot of lawsuits build up against them. And if they get judgments against them, you could be seeing a lot of money coming out of Disney without a lot of money going into Disney. And that could possibly spell the end.
I doubt it.
I mean, it's scary to think about, and you think they're really big, but you get a couple million, maybe $1 billion judgment against you, and suddenly people are going to run who are investing in you, and your money's going to dry up quick.
I mean, I don't care what Disney do. I'm not a Disney fan, so they can shut down tomorrow. It would not hurt my feelings.
Right, but a lot of people love it, and we want to let people know what's going on with it because
Correct.
they just had Inside Out 2 come out this weekend, and it was a hit. It was a hit. It made 155 million domestically. Like, families were going out to the movies again. They were going to watch this thing. And now the news is, well, there could be discrimination lawsuits against Disney. The news isn't like, hey, this weekend, go see Inside Out 2, the #1 movie in America. Like, it's just that you had a high note, and now you're on a low note. Consequences.
That's all. Consequences.
Consequences of it all. Crazy stuff. We got some
Yes.
comments to go over before we wrap up. Mary Jade had a 66 GTO, cruising on the Ave with the 66 GTO. Showing your age there, Mary Jade. Showing your age.
Ain't no wrong with that. Show it.
So,
Show it.
Yes. She also says they should hire the best qualified person for the job. Agreed.
Of course. That's what it's all about.
You know, if you just look at resumes and say, hey, what have you done? As long as you're not on Facebook doing anything weird in any videos, then you should be fine. Best qualified person for the job.
That's right.
All right. Anything else you want to go over tonight?
Oh no, I'm finna. Jesus, this AC done pop back on. I mean, I'm just ready for the weekend. I need a weekend, but I'm gonna have a grandbaby. So when I get off work tomorrow, I got to go to Tampa. So it is what it is. But I'm still ready for the weekend.
All right. Hey, if you got nothing to do Saturday night, turn on the Angriest Man in Orlando channel, and you can. I'll tell a great story. It's gonna be a good one this weekend.
Okay.
Gonna pull out the vanilla rum for this one.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
We'll sidebar on that one.
Almost ran out of Chardonnay last Saturday. It was a close one right at the end. But we pulled it off. It was really good. Thank you to everyone who watched it.
All right, that will wrap up the show for tonight.
Yes.
We hope everybody, Mary J, thank you for watching, participating, asking questions, leaving messages. We greatly appreciate you. We notice that you always support us, and I would like to say thank you.
Yes. Thank you to not just Mary Jade, everyone else. Feel free to leave comments after the video. We'll bring up next week. Any quote of the night before we go?
Consequences. Be careful of what you do because there's always a consequence behind it. You may not think so now, but in the future, they're going to say 2 men in the room told us about consequences.
That's right. So don't be doing those OnlyFans pages.
Oh,
don't
gosh.
be doing those OnlyFans pages. Consequences.
Consequences. Okay. Unless you're going to continue to make your coins by doing that, but eventually OnlyFans will run out or whatever it's called or whatever.
It will eventually change. I mean, they had things before it and they'll have things after it. But,
of course.
It'll die once the money dies. So,
yeah.
Well,
thank you, each and every one. Thank you for watching. We greatly appreciate it. And good night.
All right. Tune in next Thursday. We'll have another exciting show. We'll go over any new stuff. And consequences, if you don't watch it, are you just won't have a fun Thursday night. You'll have a boring one sitting at home watching something else. So tune in. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Have a great weekend.